Have you ever had just this feeling, this knowing of something, but you talked yourself out of it only later to figure out you were 100% correct about that person or that place or that thing? This is a common sign that you are disconnected from your intuition and you are allowing fears, doubts, self-criticism to take over, and you're trusting that more than your inner knowing. In this here video episode, we're going to be talking about how to learn and read the signs that it's your intuition and not just fear-based thinking and trauma responses. My name is Toni. I'm the trauma doula. I'm a somatic guide and energy healer, and I'm here to support you in tapping in and tuning in to your body and to become who you were before trauma told you who you should be. Welcome back. So the thing is, intuition isn't something new. It's something you've always known, that's always been a part of you, even when you are a little kid. 5-year-olds have intuition. Whether we recognize it as adults or not is not of our concern. Our concern is helping them grow to understand their intuition in themselves and to build trust in themselves. And yet so many people were raised in these households that said, I'm the boss, I'm the authority figure, trust me and nothing else, and whatever you think and feel doesn't matter. Even though you know without a shadow of a doubt that your intuition has been a place of deep and sometimes surprising wisdom. It may have led you to places that you were not expecting, but were better than anything that you could conceive of. And that's just because it is beyond our understanding of what energy is coming up within us to be lived. And it's up to us to decipher the difference between our intuition and our trauma responses and conditioning. The thing is, you override yourself because you've been taught to distrust yourself. There is always an authority figure that you should trust, over trusting the signals from your own body. One thing that I've noticed is like telling kids to try to use the bathroom before we leave the house. Does everybody always have to use the bathroom 5 minutes after you leave the house? Yes, absolutely. Did they actually have to go before you left the house? Probably not. And now we realize that you should not be trying to use the bathroom until you have to go because it's bad for your bladder. But we, from very young ages, are told to override our body's responses and processes because someone else needed to be more comfortable or didn't want to be inconvenienced. This also comes up with food. Big time with food. Sometimes, kids have likes and just dislikes like everybody else. And oftentimes when you were a kid, you may have been told to finish what was on your plate, but you weren't hungry. But you're told to override your body and its messages about your hunger or thirst or what have you, so you don't inconvenience someone else. And so then your very own body and processes become about somebody else and not the responses and sensations and cues being for you. Your hunger cue is for you to have and decipher and to manage. Your bathroom cues are for you. Go to the bathroom if you haven't. It comes in as like holding it all the time because it was inconvenient when you had to go to the bathroom because we've already left the house now. So all of these are examples of ways that we have been taught from very young ages in ways that may not have even been malicious to override our very own bodies for someone else. And now there's a sense of distrust within self when it comes to your intuition. The other thing is you confuse fear with intuition, Or you are pulled in these different directions all the time, not knowing if it's your intuition, if it feels true to you, or if that's the right thing to be doing. There's a lot of murkiness rather than clarity about what you want or where you're going, or if you should do this thing or that thing. And that is us being stuck in nervous system dysregulation and survival mode, but it makes it so that it's difficult to tap into your very own intuition. The thing is, the world taught you to trust anything but your body. And sometimes the body was unsafe because the world was unsafe with your body. However, intuition isn't just connection to something greater than ourselves trying to communicate with us. It is also a sensation, a felt sense of awareness within your body that can lead the way for things in your life that your mind hasn't caught up to yet. But a large portion of our communication is nonverbal. That means a large portion of our communication is happening within and in between bodies, not verbal. And verbal is of the mind. And this body processing of information happens way before it makes it up to your mind. This is why we call somatic healing bottom-up healing, because oftentimes the awareness of the body moves from the bottom up. So your mind is actually the last place to understand conceptually anything of the body and the environment. And so why wouldn't I trust my first sense? Why would I trust my last sense? It takes so much time to develop thoughts, words into frameworks and ideas and communicate them effectively. It can take years. But my body may know something and cue intuition, so I know what action to take without even needing my mind. And after I take that action, I can go and say and try to conceptualize why I took that action. I can analyze it later, but oftentimes your intuition is trying to keep you safe and also working to lead you to what you truly want and desire. And sometimes it's just here to tell you about people. Sometimes you just need to know that that person's not okay. So often our energy is speaking to us in ways that we do not fully comprehend. But if you tune into the body, you can begin to unravel what the intuition is pushing you towards. You can begin to differentiate between intuition and fear. Sometimes intuition feels like goosebumps or chills. Sometimes energetically it feels like sinking in your body. You felt that before. Or it feels like lifting, or it feels lighter. You can get into a conversation and energetically you can say, I just feel lighter when I talk to this person. What does that mean? These are all cues and sensations that your body gives you and feeds to you. And you can begin to understand and decipher your intuition through these very same sensations and energetic feelings within. So how can you begin to tell the difference between fear and intuition? Feels overwhelming, and oftentimes you are trying to escape it. You're trying to get away from it. You're trying to push it away, push it down, put it under something. And oftentimes fear is underneath another emotion that looks like anger, that looks like irritation, that looks like anxiety. Oftentimes, if you have these persistent, consistent emotional states, you're always irritated, you're always mad, usually there is fear or grief, but we'll stick with fear for now, underneath that emotion. And it is hiding the fear so that you don't really look at and analyze what's there. Because fear, false evidence appearing real, there is a story or a case that you have built up Fear builds up a story in a case and it tells that story, but underneath the fear is the story. So you only feel fear and you can't see the story because people don't look at what they're afraid of very often. That's deep shadow work. But if you want to begin to understand the difference between fear and your intuition, you will have to start to look at your fears. Those things that you push away or hide from. So fear is oftentimes tense. It's constrictive. Your body might feel constrictive. It might feel like sinking. And you'll often hear in fear this constant nagging sense of your mind saying, what if this, what if that, what if this happens, what if that happens? Again, fear is usually buried underneath anxiety. It's buried underneath anger. It's buried underneath all of these feelings that are somewhat easier to experience, because fear is difficult to experience. Because when you go into the heart of it, you see all of your insecurities, all the places where you doubt yourself, all the places where you might be hating yourself. And you have to look at it and say, oh, maybe this came from my parents. Maybe this came from that bully when I was in middle school. Maybe this came from that time I heard my dad and mom talking about me and they called me fat. There's all of these times and experiences that get put away and built in this case is built, and fear just comes over that. And then whatever other emotion that needs to come over the fear to distract you enough so that you never get to the heart of the thing. On the other side of that is intuition. Anything that is not clear is not intuition. Intuition will clearly give you a step, not a why, but an action. And sometimes that action sounds and feels frustrating to a nervous system that is stuck in survival. Sometimes that action is be silent, be still, go to that event, don't go to that event, text this person. It's very clear, specific. Hey, sometimes my intuition tells me when to go shopping, okay? And then I end up having the best thrifting trip I've had. I find all the cool stuff, okay? So sometimes your intuition can come to you for fun things. So go thrifting this weekend. And I'm like, okay, done. Your intuition is going to be clear, concise, oftentimes a wafting feeling, no real reason. In fear, there's always a reason. Sometimes these reasons sound like excuses. Sometimes they don't sound like excuses. Sometimes it sounds like really, really important, and you have placed so much importance on this reason why. But intuition, oftentimes, sometimes there's no reason. You're not given that, but it will be clear. And again, this is a felt sense. So all of these practices, you have to begin tuning into your body so that you can feel the difference. This is what somatic guides are teaching you. Feeling your way through what's fear, what's intuition, what's my people pleasing, and what is the truth of what I want. What is my overgiving, giving so much that I don't have anything, and what is me being an open, gracious person who takes care of myself. Those things feel different internally in your body and around you in your energy field. If you're a people pleaser, you might be asking yourself, how do I know when I'm just trying to make everyone happy? And how do I know that I'm in alignment with my truth and walking in that and knowing that I can't make everyone happy? It's not possible. And I can still be kind, and not making everyone happy doesn't make me unkind. And the nuance is felt. It's not always thought, conceptualized in your mind and understood. Sometimes you understand it, but then you understand it and then you don't feel it. And then you continue to act in these ways because you haven't got your body on board. with your intuition. So one way that you can start to tune into your body is get your body's yes and no. If you have done any spiritual practices, or used a pendulum, or done any of those things, used even tarot cards, you might ask the tarot cards, what's your yes? What's my no card? You might ask your pendulum, show me yes, show me no. You can do the same thing with your body. I've seen some people write on pieces of paper, yes, no, and see which direction their body kind of moves in. But sometimes you can just ask your body, is this a yes, is this a no? And listen, just feel it. Sometimes no feels like a sinking feeling. Sometimes it literally feels like your shoulders curling in. Sometimes yes feels like a lift, or like an open, or like clear. See if this is a practice that you want to try out, and see if your body has responses to the words yes and no. Show me your yes, show me your no, body. Talk to your body like a friend. That's another part of this process of asking the body for its yes and no, and treating your body like it's your friend and not simply a tool that you use day in and day out to go to work. Notice what changes when you ask your body what's its yes, what's its no. It could be your breath, it could be your posture, it can be a sensation or a feeling, it could be a temperature. Once you start to tune in to your body's language, which is sensation, you can begin to hear intuition, which is energetic. Intuition is where the energetic feeds into the body, which is somatic, and then you can decipher through the mind, which is intellectual. If you find it very difficult to ask your body yes and no and feel, and that doesn't feel doable, then I highly suggest you start some somatic practices, some tuning into the body, some body scans, meditations, which I have up on my Substack, and things like that, so that you can begin to fully step into trusting your body and yourself, and tune in and connect to yourself and your body in a deeper and fuller way, so that you can begin to walk in this self-trust, walk in this intuition, walk in whatever the energy that wants to unfold in your life can unfold. But some of the things that you can do are body check-ins and body scans and things like that. Those would be really helpful if you find that this is difficult. Also, noticing when you're hungry, the basic cues. Sometimes you don't even know when you're hungry, or when you're thirsty, or when you have to go to the bathroom, because again, like I said in the beginning, these things were trained out of you. So by learning, okay, I'm hungry right now, okay, I'm actually hot, let me take off this sweater. Oh, I'm cold, let me put some socks on and put on and get a blankie. Learning and noticing your body's basic cues, hunger, thirst, hot or cold temperature, those things, and then taking care of yourself and your needs is one way that you can begin to stop overriding your body cues, tap into what you're feeling, and then by way of doing that, learn to hear and trust your intuition. When you take a step towards your body and learning to trust and feel and notice, your body takes a step towards you and say, oh, maybe you are safe. If you don't become a safe place for yourself, it will be difficult for your intuition to connect with you and talk to you. It will be difficult for your inner child to connect and talk to you. It will be difficult for you to begin unwinding all of the conditioning that has been placed on you. And if you feel like you need support with that, that's what somatic remembrance is for. So your body has always known. Your body has always known and felt, and it has been keeping a record, keeping track of all your experiences, of all your intuitive responses. And when you begin to come back online to your body and to yourself and to your energy, that information is waiting for you. You may need support in understanding these things and learning about these things, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here for that all day. That's what gets me excited. But Your body is always known. It's just a matter of reconnecting to it and beginning to trust it step by step, moment by moment. Until next time.